moving on from it.
Did Nick say to you guys after practice about the fight?
It's an in-house thing.
Man, we're a team. We ain't gonna let nobody come in our house and take over. But we gonna continue to work hard each and every day. We whoop their ass up.
Got a little feisty yesterday between the Eagles and the Colts to the point where they called practice off after a brawl. And the ingredients were there. You have a team that's already established itself as one of the bullies.
Right.
You've got a team that's trying to establish itself, trying to compete, trying to stand out, trying to keep up in a conference where they are also ran at very best. So we're going to go in there. We're going to show them what's what. We're going to go show the Eagles what we're all about. And this is one of the issues with the joint practices. And you've got more and more coaches saying one day is enough because by the second day, there's a lot of lingering animosity. Well, it exploded right out of the gates for the Colts and Eagles who play on Thursday night. That's the thing, too. Even though they called off practice, they're still going to play in the game. This gets back to what we're saying. If the NFL is going to be obsessive about a guy pointing a finger at somebody and causing that guy to, make the Ryan Howard list like he did when he was back at Dunder Mifflin after getting indicted for fraud or whatever it was he did. But if you made the list, they're going to be acting out on that list during the game on Thursday night. That's what to watch out for. Regardless of pulling the plug on practice, Chris, whatever happened there between the Eagles and the Colts could spill over to tomorrow night when they meet for a game that we'll all be watching in primetime. At least those of us who can't wait for football season to start will be tuned in. I think it's an Amazon Prime game. It's a little dry run for them. And it could get a little interesting.
Well, definitely. And then you hear the comments after. You could tell the Eagles players are still a little upset about it, and that's where the payback thing happens. I'm going to be interested to see next year where this goes with all these joint practices. Again, the league is worried about player safety. That's all they talk about. We're in the meeting with the NFL. We're getting to the point where two-hand touch is illegal in some place. But then they're going to let brawls go on. And then one of their things is, yes, player safety, but also how it looks to the youth. That's one thing that's sold to us and we hear about all the time. And I don't know, all I've seen during training camp is fights. That's all the youth sees. My son shows me one every day on TikTok. So is that what we're trying to do? See, that's where there's just a disconnect. And just the league and talking out of both sides of their mouth there, onto the field surface thing and all that. And it's going to be interesting to see where this goes because I think the league is going to have to govern this at some point.
I think they like the interest that the fights generate at a time when there aren't real games to generate interest.
Maybe.
That's the only explanation I have. They like the fact there's money to be had in the engagement and the views and the discussion about it. Here's Jason Kelce, who started the fight by blindsiding Zaire Franklin at the end of a play. Both Kelce and Franklin talking about what happened yesterday.
I think tensions just got the better of me. Certainly, we try and keep things civil on the field. And I think for me, I pride myself on being a guy that sustains the emotion and the level of play out there. And I let my emotions get the better of me. That certainly doesn't belong out there on the field. And, just, a little bit ashamed that it got to that level and that I did what I did. So certainly, not happy about that. And I think very highly of the guys that were out there, in particular 44 Zaire. I think, he's a tremendous player. I think all of their guys up front, and they brought a lot of intensity to the day, which made the practice intense. And, I think I didn't handle things properly there at the end. Just want to reiterate that, that's not something that I should have done or should happen out there. It was a cheap shot.
It's funny, obviously growing up in Philly, watching him play for a long time, a lot of respect for him. Talked to him a little bit after we played him last year. Thought the OGs would at least look me in the eye before, but it's all good. I'm going to get a chance to look him in the eye on Thursday, so we're going to be okay.
See, there it is.
That's
there it
what
is,
I mean.
Chris. I'm going to get a chance to look him in the eye on Thursday.
Right.
So
he's going to be looking for him.
Hey, whoever whoever is officiating that game, be advised, you better make sure that and even then, how much can you police it? Because it's not about stuff that may happen after the play. It's that gratuitous shot that gets taken against the guy within the confines of the rules that is perfectly legal, but the guy's going out of his way to go put a little something extra on it because he's pissed off about what happened on Tuesday. That's exactly why they need to take a look at this. You don't want that familiarity among the two teams that are going to be playing each other.
No,
period.
no. That's where, it gets back to, we talked about this a little, I think, earlier in the week, or maybe it was late last week. I can't even remember. But, hey, consequences are what keep the world in order. If we didn't have speed limits or cops on the side of the highway, we'd have people going 100 miles per hour down the highway. If we don't have they don't have that right now. There's nothing. Oh, I blindsided this guy. He's admitting he gave a guy a cheap shot on the other team, and there's no consequence. So what's next time I'm a little hangry and whatever else, it probably will happen again. And that's, to me, where there's a disconnect right there between player safety, the league, what we want to put out there as a league, all of that. And then, yes, they're going to be payback on Thursday night on top of that.
Yeah, the consequences are team handle discipline, which consists of the coach saying, "Hey, you probably shouldn't do that. You probably shouldn't do that." Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.